Lights, camera, action.
Welcome to the Requel Pitch Podcast. I'm your host, Tyler. This podcast is a little bit different than my usual, because usually it's a podcast based on pitching, like when I'm in the car, and a lot of times it's spontaneous. But this one, I'm sitting here at home, and I've had some time to kind of think. And if you're just checking this out, September is when we have Batman Day. And we usually use all of September to kind of celebrate Batman. He's, of course, my second favorite hero, but the kids love Batman more than Superman. And Superman's their number two. Except for kind of say, I think Flash is still her number one. But anyways, so what I was doing is, through Batman Day and everything, we've watched different things and read some things. And I revisited what we're going to talk about today. And my pitch today is something I think they could do a few years down the line. We'll say 2030. Okay. And basically what I was working on here is a story that every Batman fan loves. And that is the idea for The Long Halloween. Now, The Long Halloween is a very prominent, very famous Batman story. One of the things about The Long Halloween is it's kind of been cherry-picked. And elements from The Long Halloween appeared in the Nolan trilogy. Elements of The Long Halloween appeared in Matt Reeves' The Batman universe so far. But we haven't really done it. Now, they did make an animated film, and it's quite good, and that's what the kids and I rewatched. I bought on physical media with The Long Halloween. I waited, and I bought the complete film as one movie, and I think it works better, but I can still tell you where the breaks are, because they do these black cutaways that annoy me. But today's pitch is basically to do The Long Halloween. The idea is to do a trilogy miniseries, 3 seasons basically, and I'll kind of break it down a little bit. The first season is 12 episodes, and you're using The Long Halloween and Haunted Nights as your source material. The second season, you're using Dark Victory and When in Rome, and the third season would be the current running Last Halloween, which is the story that just started. As of this recording, the first issue has dropped, the first official issue, as well as they reprinted as The Last Halloween issue 0, the Long Halloween special that they did about 2 years ago. So that would kind of be your third season, and you would use that material to do your story. And I can't speak on that too much right now, as the Last Halloween is, like I said, just kicking off. But I will speak on the first season most in depth, touching a little bit on the sequel seasons. But it would be, like I said, 12 issues, or 12 episodes, sorry. Year 2 for the first season, a year 3 story for the second, and a year 4 for the Last Halloween. But what you do is the first episode, that's the one you have to get that perfect, okay? That's going to be your big introduction. You're building your engine for 3 seasons. And that's probably going to be about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. And I think an hour 30 would push it. But I think you have a lot of ground to cover. But you can do it. And the opening of it would be, the opening shot would be Gilda and Harvey Dent putting their jack-o'-lantern out on Halloween night. And that you'd see them light it. It would, be black, and it would just be illuminated from the jack-o'-lantern opening. And you would see, it would be at sunset as kids are running around starting to trick or treat. Then it would cut to Batman chasing Scarecrow from the first issue of Haunted Nights. And it would be Batman hunting Scarecrow on this Halloween night. And, that would go on for about 15 minutes. And we would really kind of condense like I said, the first little bit, maybe the second issue, into a big opening action scene. And then we would kind of cut and show the Falcons and everything, but you would definitely have a lot of peppered in Halloween holiday imagery. Holiday imagery would be throughout this series on every episode. Okay? And what you would do is you would then show them, celebrating their Halloween, and they're having like a Halloween dinner, fall evening, however you want to do it. You would have Batman bringing Crane to Arkham, and we get a nice shot of seeing all the players that are in Arkham right now, and the ones that aren't. You would then that's when you start working in your first issue of the Long Halloween. I think what would be really ingenious is make the Falcons having kind of combine the element from Haunted Nights and the Long Halloween, that the gathering is a Halloween party, masquerade party. It's a great image. In Haunted Nights, you have Bruce Wayne throwing a party, and in the Long Halloween, you have Falcone. And I think you could kind of combine them to one event, and it would be interesting to do. And then you have Gordon, who is going to... We call back to the Long Halloween films, where we have Gordon taking his kids. And we can do Barbara as either his niece or his daughter. We can do niece. I think it would be a different play here, but he's going to take them out trick-or-treating, and of course gets called into work. And then we build, and we would have, like I said, the rest of that first issue kind of play out as it is, but the differences be the episode would end with the kind of intercut of the first holiday killing. And I think all the holiday killings to honor the book should be done black and white, with the explosion at Harvey Dent's house. So you have the killing, the first holiday killing, and then you have the jack-o'-lantern set out. Or you'd have the first holiday killing, you'd have Harvey walk up to his front door, it would explode, and then you cut back to the jack-o'-lantern being set down in front of the dead body. Now, I know that you'd have to tweak a few things and a few beats from that first issue that dealt with that killing, because the killing happens a little earlier in the issue, but I think that would filter into kind of the start of the second episode. And you just have to, like I said, you have to play around with some time compression there, because you want to build the mystery and you want to keep things as interesting as possible. And I think ending with that first holiday killing, because you're bringing in different setups and everything, and his explosion would help. Now, like I said, you have to move around, because like I'm pulling out, I got my books right here. You have that first holiday killing, and that's kind of, I'm going to it in my book here. You hear me turning the pages. You have that first holiday killing, and then you have, Batman and Catwoman and all them, and then that leads them to the money. But I think, like I said, you can move some things around and make it work, where the holiday killing happens at the same time that it's attacked. All right, so that's the first episode. Now, the other episodes would be about 40 minutes apiece and follow each individual issue pretty well, as it is in the book. A few things we can pull in. Sowing a few seeds with characters, thickening some of the characters, much like how the animated film did with relationship to the Maronis, with Sophia and building in, because I said season 2 would be Dark Victory and When in Rome. The final episode would also be a little bit larger because you're wrapping up the mystery, and you would have kind of an Arkham breakout on Halloween. And one of the biggest things would be in the book, we see Gilda, it's on Christmas Eve, burning everything, saying, "I believe in Harvey Dent," but not this time. In the final episode, there'd be some dialogue about the circus is coming to town, and there'd just be that dropped, that they're looking forward to the circus, for the Thanksgiving holiday this coming year. And it would pretty much play out where we would still do the fake with Alberto, basically, just like in the book, confessing and being locked up. But the biggest difference is you have more action into it, and excuse me, it would end on Halloween night the next year with Gilda burning everything, and the closing shot would be her blowing out her jack-o'-lantern, and we'd see Harvey sitting in his cell. He would have pieced it together, and he knows who Holiday is. And she blows out the jack-o'-lantern saying, "I believe in Harvey Dent." So you have Halloween to Halloween as your complete first season. And the only other thing I would add is, in my middle episodes, about 40, 45 minutes, is I would probably do some cool cold openings, hitting back to Haunted Nights, about how some of the other interactions he experienced, like when he caught Penguin, when he caught Mad Hatter, and show just some of those battles that then are alluded to in the month of which we are exploring those villains. And like I said, I'll be pulling from the Haunted Nights because it is a nice little prequel series building up and incorporating that. And then season 2, like I said, Dark Victory. I would probably move Robin up a little bit into it, and I would probably, thinking about this as I'm went through this, I probably would end season 2. I'm looking through my Dark Victory book. Yeah, I would move a lot of the Dark Victory stuff up, and basically the last episode of season 2 would be the long Halloween special that was done 2 years ago, which is now the last Halloween 0 year. And then the third season would be the last Halloween done proper. And like I said, the last Halloween's just now coming out. Check it out. If you have the Ultra app, it's there. If not, check it out in stores. It's Tim Sale's artwork is in it before his passing. So that's my pitch for this Halloween season. It's a nice little way of ending Batman month and going into the Halloween season, the holiday season period. And I just thought it was an interesting kind of concept of how to do this as a noir-esque television series to really tell that story, I think, the way that a lot of people want. Because much like The Dark Knight Returns, that has been cherry-picked for BVS and Justice League, and then The Dark Knight Rises, it's just one of those seminal Batman stories. So, happy Halloween.